Hello from Italy, guys. This is the Mind Method podcast, and we are live from Florence, Italy. We're in Florence for my 40th birthday, which is super exciting. You're having fun?
Yeah, it's been fun. Guys, we did Rome, we did the Colosseum, we did the Vatican. FYI, everybody told us not to go to Rome. They said it's too touristy, it's dirty, you're not going to like it. Rome was pristine. It was beautiful. It was upscale. We had to go buy new clothes because we weren't even dressed nicely enough. We thought we looked great until we got there. Then we went to Positano. We did a boat tour to Capri. Oh my God, amazing. We may or may not have gotten a little bit queasy on the way back, but I digress. It was a beautiful experience. And now we're in Florence. We're finishing off. We're already heading home tomorrow. It's been almost 10 days.
Crazy.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Rome, it flew by. Rome was stunning. Being in Italy is really, really rich with so much history. And I think one of the things that we both experienced during our trip is not just the food, the culture, but the perspective that history really gives you in terms of your life. Like, so many great people existed throughout our history and built such amazing, massive, like the Empire of Rome and the buildings and like some of the architecture here that was built, the history is just
engineering.
The engineering is so stunning. And to think of, we did the walking tours where they explained some of the people throughout history and their lives, and hearing how much they achieved is truly inspiring to then think of your own life and think, well, I just have a job, and then there's these people who build empires, which is insane. And they're no different than us. They're literally no different than us. So on today's podcast, what's the topic? What are we talking about?
Yes, good question. We are talking about goals that you have to have the expectation,
right,
and the difference between expectations and desire. How do you turn the want into like it's a done deal? I know it's happening and I can just push forward with the confidence that whatever I want to manifest, it's already done.
Yeah. So bullet points. This whole episode, we wanted to talk about expectation because we're very much taught, I think, in society that you shouldn't expect success and you shouldn't expect great things. And often we hear people say like, if it's too good to be true, it likely is. Or that's really, a far reach for someone like you. And I don't think we ever really truly expect greatness from ourselves. And I think that's one of the lessons that we learned through thinking into results and lead the field that really truly impacted me personally was when I shifted from I really want these things, I hope I can have these things, I want and I desire to have success and financial freedom. And I shifted from, and we'll talk about one of the books that really helped us do that, but I shifted to expectation, really expecting and saying, I expect it from myself. I will have success and I expect it. And that's a massive difference, guys. So why don't you talk about the difference between hoping for something and the expectation of it?
Yeah. I heard a really, really good quote. And I really think that it completely encapsulates the concept of expectation. And that quote is, when you think about the sun setting and rising, you don't hope that it will. You don't want it to set and to rise. You just know it's going to happen. When you wake up in the morning, you know the sun is going to rise. And you should have that same sense of certainty where you're not clinging and forcing and wishing and hoping, because those are all very forced emotions. When you really, really, really want something and you're craving it, that's also when a lot of people tend to force things because they think that they know what they want. And so they really, really try to just control everything in their environment to make it happen. The sun's going to set, the sun's going to rise, and you know it. So when you know that the sun is going to set and rise, you don't have to will and wish and force. You just let it happen. You know it's going to happen. So when it comes to your expectation, when you have the confidence and the belief that it's already a done deal and whatever it is that you want is it's happened, then you have a much more relaxed and laid back. You're able to surrender to the process, and you're a lot less likely to control the how.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the big parts of it is when we started learning personal development, we were told, forget about the how. Forget how abundance is coming to your life. Forget how the universe is going to take care of you. Forget how everything is going to work out.
The how. Like, how do you stop worrying about the how?
The how is actually none of your business. And that's really one of the big things, that if you start expecting greatness in your life and you expect abundance and you expect success, then you don't have to worry about the how, because you just go out and take inspired action and release the how to the universe, to God, to source. You release the how. You say, I don't know how I'm going to become a coach. I don't know how I'm going to be a mogul in real estate. I don't know how I'm going to become, the best singer, or whatever your goal is in life. I don't know how I'm going to achieve that greatness. You don't have to know how. You just have to set the intention first, start taking the inspired action, and then really, truly expect the end result. And I like talking about the end result because for us, when Tamar and I, we do our daily personal development, which is usually a couple hours for each of us, thinking from the end result is a big part of it, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about the end result?
Yeah, so the book that we were going to mention is Neville Goddard, Power of Awareness. And I've actually, on the every train that we've been on, my go-to has been the Neville Goddard, the complete collection. I'm almost done. I'm like 3 chapters away from finishing all of his works. And one of the most powerful things that he says is that when you tap into your imagination, you actually create whatever reality you want to create. When you focus on something long enough in your imagination and in your mind, it will become a reality. So when you think from what he coins and what he quotes as the wish fulfilled, when you think from the end, when you know what's going to happen, you don't need to be so concerned about how you're going to make it happen. That's when you can release that to the universe. And spoiler alert, when you think from the end result, from your wish fulfilled, and you surrender the rest to the universe, you actually, in my experience, the things that have ended up happening for me and for us have been way greater than we would have created if we actually forced the how.
Way.
Because the ways that we thought we could achieve X, Y, or Z have in fact not been the way that we've achieved our wish. And the wish, once it did get fulfilled, was actually a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. We're doing bigger things. We've gotten better results because we've been able to go with the flow and just know that when we come from the end. So to answer your question, when you work from the end, when you already act as if, and I say act as if, but guys, in the beginning, yes, you might want to act as if because you don't really know what it feels like to already have that wish fulfilled. If you want to have, whatever, the dollar amount in the bank or the health that you want or the relationship that you've always wanted, when you want those things, sometimes you say, I don't really know how to act as if because I've never had that wish fulfilled. I've never had whatever it is. And that's okay. Because in those moments, what you have to do is you have to tap into how you would feel. So ask yourself, how will I feel when my wish is granted? Mm-hmm. What does it look like if you get the health that you want? If you're in your ideal body or you have that ideal endurance that you've always wanted, the energy level that you've always wanted, what is that going to feel like? Meditate on that. Sit on it. What does that feel like? If you're going to have the dollar amount, if you're going to have your career goals, what will it feel like to be that person? Go out and act like that person. Mm-hmm. Go out with that feeling of how you would feel and feel that, right? So start embodying those feelings. And then you'll be really able to tap into the acting as if. Mm-hmm. And then before you know it, because you've been acting like that person, now we talk a lot about expectation, right? So what does this person act like? How do they feel? Let me feel like that now. Well, if I'm already feeling like that now, what am I going to start expecting from the universe? I'm going to start to expect to see those results. We will say this probably every time that we do a podcast. It never comes how or when you think.
Never. I mean, okay, you did a great job explaining it, and there's a lot of things I want to like break down. Starting with the whole entire process of working on your mindset, guys, starts with the fundamental of changing the way that you think, right? Because first you must start from the beginning where your thoughts originate, right, in our conscious mind. And so Tamar said, you need to think from the end result. So that's number one, is starting to think, go, okay, you know what, consciously make the decision. I want to be a public speaker on stage, or I want to be a public figure. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be a CEO. I'm going to think about what it feels like if I was a CEO, if I achieved that goal. How does it feel? So before you can get to really embodying how it feels, you first must set the intention by consciously setting the intention with our thoughts. So that's step number one. So, for example, when I started personal development, I said, I would love to speak on stages around the world, inspiring other people to change their lives. And in 2 weeks, I'll be on stage at the Keyspire event in Toronto. But that came to fruition when I started every single day thinking and setting that intention and using my thought energy. But then also, when you visualize yourself, I would visualize, this is what I would do. I would tap into the feeling of how it felt as I was on the stage. And that's the feeling Tamar's talking about. So I would envision every single day walking out onto the stage at Keyspire. I would envision, right? I would envision the suit that I was wearing, the shoes that I was wearing. I would even feel how my feet felt in my shoes. I would feel the jacket on my shoulders. I could smell the cologne that I was wearing. I could feel the energy from the crowd, and I could see the lights. I could feel it. I could feel how excited I was to share my message. And I've done that every single day since I first, made the conscious decision to set that goal. So what's really important, and I think if you look at, guys, all the greats, if you go on YouTube, all the greats talk about this. Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza, even Tony Robbins, they all talk about one of the most important things that you can do is feel what it feels like, to stay in that feeling, because that feeling is our vibration. And when you feel as if, and you act as if, you feel as if it's already happened, you are in the highest vibration. And that's what turns you into a magnet for the universe, which is really cool, it attracts it just like a magnet. It is science, but I like to always say it's like a magnet.
Yeah, Neville Goddard in his book, and like Matt said, you will find all of the greats using visualization as the number one tool to create your life, to create whatever goals you want to achieve for yourself. But just to give you some strategies on how to actually do that day to day, because you're listening to us, you're going, cool, okay, I want to start to do that. What am I going to do? What should I do today? So the best advice that we can give you, this is Genevieve Briand, Your Invisible Power. Joe Dispenza will tell you this. Neville Goddard will tell you this. They all will tell you the same thing. The best time to visualize, first thing in the morning, last thing before bed. Right when you're in between that waking state and the sleep state.
Which is what? What do they call that?
The alpha wave. That's when your brain is the most relaxed. When you're awake, like we are now, we're in the beta wave. We're alert, we're awake. This is a great time to use your logic. We want to tap into that really relaxed state, because that's when our subconscious is really open to receiving information and being reprogrammed. So when you wake up, the first thing that you want to think about, of course, your gratitude. But then think about that wish. Think about what it will feel like before you go to bed, as you're falling asleep, right when you're in that really sleepy phase. Just daydream and picture, use your 5 senses. What will it feel like? What foods will you be eating? You felt the texture of your clothing and your shoes. You could smell your cologne. These are really powerful things to do right before you go to sleep, because your subconscious will really receive it in those moments where you're really relaxed. Another thing that you can do And this is something that's really fun to do. You've had a bad day, something has happened, you've had an unexpected piece of bad news. And we'll do a whole show on how there is no good news or bad news, there's just news. However, for the sake of this discussion, we'll say you received a piece of bad news, you got a letter in the mail, an unexpected bill, something really threw you off, and you thought, oh, I've been doing so well at this visualization, and now I feel like something bad has happened. You can actually revise your day. Mm-hmm. So you can go back in your mind and literally reframe and replay your day the way you wish it would have gone. You got that bill. What was that bill like? Okay, rewrite it. Pretend it was an unexpected deposit in your bank account for the same amount of money. A check. Thank you. I was thinking, what's the word for money coming in? And you said it for me.
Abundance.
Thank you. Yes. Check. Okay. A check. Yeah. One of those things. And so you can actually rewrite your day, right? And when you start to revise your day as you wish it would have gone, you're actually setting yourself up to constantly be looking for the positives, right? And people have done this in Neville Goddard's books. He will give you stories of people that will do this. You know, somebody got a really bad letter in the mail. They lost their job. Right? So they'll sit before they go to bed, and all day long, they'll just rewrite that letter. And instead of losing their job, it'll be a letter offering them a really amazing job that they never had before. Before you know it, lo and behold, an opportunity falls into your lap that you didn't think was possible. Right? And people go, okay, well, that's just a coincidence. But it's not. There are no coincidences. Mm-hmm. So all of the things that you have around you are a result of some sort of thought that you had or somebody else had. So how do we channel those thoughts? And how do we really tap into the feelings that we'll feel when we have the thing we want?
Right. And how we tap into them, guys, and that is key, is through consistency, repetition, and doing this every day, because some days it's going to be very hard for you to tap into that frequency and that feeling and staying in that vibration. That's okay, because, you know, we are human and we are flawed, and sometimes you have a hard time with dealing with the external and dealing with things in life, and that's okay. We all do. But the most important thing is recognizing and knowing, okay, I'm not in a great vibration. I don't feel really good. I'm going to get back to it. So I'm going to put my earbuds in. I'm going to take 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever I need to reset my feeling, my vibration, get back into that total Zen flow where you know everything is working out in your favor, no matter what. And even when things fall through, it's for your benefit, right? And I talk about this with our clients all the time, even yesterday. Something very seemingly bad or negative is happening to them. And I said, this is actually all very good things. Because if it was a real estate deal, I said, if the real estate deal is meant to go through, it will go through. The money will be there. It will show up exactly when it's meant to be. You'll close the deal and it's all good and it's meant for you. If the money doesn't show up, it's also meant for you. It's not meant to show up because this deal is not meant for you. There's something better around the corner that you can't see yet. And I think oftentimes we get into that victim mentality where we think, woe is me. This is so bad. I missed the train. I missed the bus. I lost my job. Whatever bad thing is happening, seemingly we think it's bad, but it's always happening to our benefit. And when you can understand that and you start to have that change in perspective on everything in life, what an amazing gift, because now nothing is bad. Everything just is. And you know it's always just flowing to your benefit. And it's funny, we were running to the train the other day and Tamar's like, we're going to be late. And I said, it's fine. I'm not going to run. We were late for the ferry. And I'm like, it's fine. We'll make it. We walked. She's running. I'm walking. I'm like, it's fine. Stop running. I'm like, we are going to make it. It's all good. And we made it. I'm thinking, if we miss it, it's fine. We'll sit and have lunch and we'll get the next one. It's always all good. It's always going to work out. You know, and if we're meant to miss the ferry or the cab or the train, we were meant to miss it because we were meant to be exactly where we are in that moment in time.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that too, because I think it's really important, since we're touching on those moments where you're maybe not in the best vibration or something happened and you're not in the best, most positive mood. Mm-hmm. That is a really good opportunity for you to practice a lot of compassion for yourself. You're not doing it wrong because you had a bad day. Yeah. You don't suck at doing positive thinking. You're not going to never achieve your goals. Yeah. You're not screwing it up. You know, you're not going to now all of a sudden be inviting bad things into your life. When those days happen, you know, I went through a bit of a hard time before we went to Italy. I went through a little phase where I was in a really low vibration and I had a really hard time bringing myself back, and it felt almost involuntary. And throughout those days where that was happening, the one thing that I did every single day was I said to myself, it's okay. You're okay. You're just like you are feeling this way today. You're going to be right back to feeling great whenever that is, right? Let me work on showing myself a lot of patience and a lot of compassion. And in those moments when my body is fighting and my paradigm is just attacking me and I just feel really low, I always take that as an opportunity to tell myself, you're okay. It's all good. And for me, that was actually really soothing because I knew in those moments, I'm not doing it. I'm not inviting negative things into my life. I'm not all of a sudden failing at personal development. This is part of the process. And in fact, it felt really good to show myself that compassion because we can be so hard on ourselves.
True.
And it's like when we talk about the expectation and the fulfillment, it's like sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Okay, now that I have this goal, I need to just, every step I take needs to be towards achieving this goal. And if I vary or if I stray or if I'm in a bad mood or something bad happens, and I'm completely lost now. And the whole thing, it's just done. So I might as well just give up and not waste my time anymore. No, it's all part of the process. The bad days are part of your growth. The bad days are just as good of an opportunity to practice all of the things that you have in your tool belt. And those bad days and the way that you navigate them can be really powerful tools as well. So it is part of the process, and those days will happen, and those are really good opportunities as well.
Yeah, agreed. So before our battery dies, we're going to wrap up here in Italy, but I want to end it with talking, because I think we talked about a lot of different things, but I want to bring it back to expectation. The difference, guys, I think, in learning, first of all, go out and read Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. The chapter 3 is my favorite, the law of assumption, and acting from the end result. And that chapter is really key, but it also allows you to get the perspective of expectation, because you're no longer wanting or wishing for things in life. You are taking inspired action, trusting the universe, and you are expecting the success and the abundance and everything that you ever dreamed of. You expect it because you know you're taking the right action toward it. And that expectation for us has really, rocket fueled our results. And when we went from like hoping and wishing, and I really hope that things happen, to I expect this, it's going to happen, guaranteed it's going to happen. I don't know how, but I expect it. It showed up, and it showed up in ways that we never dreamed. And this, it's enabled us to be here. We're in Italy for 10 days, staying in the nicest hotels, eating the best food. And this is all because doing a lot of shopping. It's my 40th. I'm allowed to shop. And you too. But all of this, after only being retired for 3 months, is possible not out of hoping or wishing, but because every single day we expect greatness from ourselves and from the universe, and we expect it. So expectation, really hang on to that word, really dig into it and carry it with you. Expectation in itself is a tool for your tool belt, because if you understand expectation, you are no longer coming from a lack mentality of hoping for something.
Yeah, expectation is hard. Is a huge component of this, because we're expecting more out of ourselves, right? We talk about coming from the end result, right? Who is that person? What do they do? How do they feel? So that person, is on a whole other level than we are. So when we hold ourselves to that level, and when we start to embody that person, all of a sudden we expect so much more from ourselves. The discipline goes up. The consistency goes up, because there's no room here for failure. We're moving forward, right? We've got stuff to accomplish here. So the expectation isn't just, come from the wish fulfilled and expect it to come falling into your lap. It's also having the expectation of yourself to execute and to really embody all of the things that you need to be and do in order to have.
Yeah. Absolutely. Expectation of yourself raises everything about what you do and how you operate, right? And that expectation will impress into your subconscious a lot of things that you won't even notice. Excuse me. And it will change, things for you. It'll change a lot of things about how you operate when you start expecting that abundance. So have that expectation, guys. Don't come from a place of lack. Do not think of yourself in a negative way. Expect greatness in your life. And for anyone who doesn't know how to do that, who doesn't know where to even start with that, please reach out to us. You can find us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, obviously website, Elite Align Coaching. And we would love to get on a call with you and explain exactly how this is a science. So, yeah.
Yes. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
Let's
I'm
have
40.
Last
Big 40. Yeah.
No.
Last night in Florence in Italy. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode for the Mind Method. Ciao.
Ciao.